How to become a multi-millionaire. In this episode, let's deal with a subtopic, how to spot self-sabotage and pull it out of your life. This is part of an ongoing series called Billionaire Secrets. And in this episode, we're going to deal with one of the biggest reasons that's preventing you from being a multimillionaire. Being a multimillionaire is actually really simple. At least the concept is really simple. The concept is and I'm just constantly looking at these charts just in case I have to do a trade for our clients or something. But the concept of becoming a multimillionaire is really simple. Being a multimillionaire just means you have a lot of money. To get a lot of money, guess what? You have to offer something in exchange that's worth more than that lot of money. So all you have to do is give people more value than the value of the money that's in their pocket. So if you're offering somebody something that's worth more to that person than the money that's in the pocket, guess what? A trade happens. An exchange happens. A couple conditions. You have to do so in a way that people find out about it and can tell other people about it, that allows for your service to scale or your product to scale so that more and more people find out about it. If you're offering, let's say, a glass of water to someone that's dying in the desert, and he's going to give you all his money, well, that's it. You've just got one customer and that's it. He's not going to be able to tell anybody. There's only two of you in the desert, and your service or product isn't going to scale. So it's that simple. You just have to offer something that's more valuable to the people you're offering to than the money in their pockets. Oh, and in a way that is more valuable, in a way that nobody else can replicate or compete with you. That's it. So this is all it takes to become a multimillionaire, and you just have to do that. Except, why aren't I a multimillionaire yet? I can't think of a product. I can't think of a service. I can't think of a... No, you can. All you have to do is offer something that is better than what everybody else is offering. If your service is a time saver, all you have to do is save more time for your clients or your customers than all your competitors. If you can't save them more time, you save them better time than your competitors and anyone else that's offering the same kind of service. What do I mean by better time? Let's say, so basically, in the intro part of this conversation, I just want to show you how easy it is to become a multimillionaire. Oh, jeez. The dollar is pumping. At least crypto's stable. You know what? Hold on a second. We're just going to have to sell a bunch of stuff. No, on second thought, we're just going to keep our positions right now. It looks like this is going to be a short-lived pump. Okay, so that's all it takes to become a multimillionaire. Then how come I'm not a multimillionaire now? Now, this part of the conversation becomes really, really hairy. For the 2 or 3 things that you have to do right, find a product or service that is worth more than the money in the pockets of the people you're selling to, and in a way that's better or different than the other people selling similar stuff. You only have to do 3 things right, and you become a multi-millionaire. And yet, the part that's hairy is this part, self-sabotage. There are a million ways in which you're blocking yourself from doing these 3 things. It's like these 3 things are the only things you want in your garden, and yet you've got millions of weeds all over the place. So let's hack at this one weed called self-sabotage. You ever notice that you're your own worst enemy? Yeah, I've seen that for things that I don't like. For instance, if I don't like my job, I'll show up late. And I'm my own worst enemy. I don't like it yelled at by my boss, but I mean, that just makes things worse. That makes me show up later and do even worse work at my job, and then eventually get fired at my job. So yeah, I'm my own worst enemy. Same with my girlfriend. I love my girlfriend and I love being in a relationship and I love that intimacy, but I'm my own worst enemy. I end up picking fights with her. I end up dumping on her emotionally. Or if you're a girl, you do the same thing to a guy. Maybe even more so. Nah, about the same, probably. Uh, so you're the one that ends up destroying your own relationship. You end up kind of flirting with a member of the opposite sex while you're sitting at a table on a date with your life partner or your mate or your date. You're self-sabotaging yourself. Yeah, but that's because I feel stuffy in this relationship. This job really isn't that right for me. But with money, that isn't that weird. I like money. Money is a good thing. Why would I self-sabotage myself away from money? You can see yourself self-sabotaging yourself from your job, a relationship, maybe even where you moved, or maybe even a friendship. All these things are easy to spot. Yeah, this is why I don't like my job. This is why I don't. And so subconsciously, I'm paving a path for me to eject myself, or for me to get auto ejected from this position. We do that all the time. In fact. Jeez, the dollar is just on a roar right now. Hold on. Yeah, we're still okay. Whew, sorry about all these interruptions. But money, I like money. So why would I even, that's preposterous that I would sabotage myself from money. Is it? Do you really like money? What is money? How do you really feel about money? What does your subconscious feel about money? What does your subconscious think about money? What does your subconscious remember about money? Are we starting to hit a nerve? You like the concept of becoming a multimillionaire, but to become a multimillionaire, guess what you have to have a lot of? Money. You like the thought of being a multimillionaire, but do you like the process? What's the process of being a multimillionaire? Collecting a lot of money. So let's separate and really observe our own psyche and our own subconscious and say, okay, am I self-sabotaging myself? Allow myself to introduce myself, Austin Powers, from money. When it's obvious that I love the concept of being a multimillionaire, but to do that, I have to have a lot of money. And every single time I think about even one part, one bit, one penny of money, what happens in your memory? What things are triggered in your memory? If your parents argued about money all the time, if you were pursued by creditors, bill collectors all the time, if you struggled and worked overtime and sweated painfully at a dead-end job that you hated and accepted all this emotional abuse from a boss because of money, do you really, really like money? You see this girl that you like, absolutely beautiful girl, and yet every single time you see her, she's nagging at you, she's yelling at you, she's screaming abuses at you, she might even be slapping you around. Pretty soon, as beautiful as her facial features are, guess what you end up doing? You end up hating her. Same thing with money. Now, are you starting to see what we're doing? We're granularizing, we are specifying components necessary to become a multimillionaire. And your internal representations of each of those components, meaning multimillionaire status, multimillionaire freedom, multimillionaire life condition. And yet to get there, you have to have a lot of this thing called money, that you have associations that are painful. Associations that are negative. Have you noticed that there are guys around you that it's so easy for them to just make a ton of money. Like they don't have these weird hang-ups that you seem to have about money. And if a billionaire is sitting right next to him, your buddy just kind of smiles and shakes their hand or waves hi or whatever, and it doesn't have any emotional response to this billionaire. And yet you see this billionaire, all of a sudden you get angry at him, you get pissed off at him. What is that? On the other hand, there are multi-billionaires that can't even spend a penny. They can't spend a penny. They hoard this money, and they're evil Scrooges about it. They hoard it and hoard it and hoard it. They can't enjoy it, and then they die of some weird disease at a young age, at 60-something, or maybe even early 70s, hated by everybody around them because of how they hoarded money. What's going on with them? Interestingly, fascinatingly, if you love your job but hate one of the people at your job, you're still going to show up late. You're still going to perform poorly. If you love marriage but you hate when your spouse gets drunk, your marriage isn't going to go far. If you love basketball and your team is fantastic, except you just don't get along with 2 or 3 of the players on your basketball team. You've seen this. You've seen basketball teams where there are rivalries within the team itself. Guess what? They never make it to the playoffs. They never win the whatever finale, a Grand Slam or All-Stars. They never win. Everybody has to be aligned and on the same page and pointed in the same direction. And you, just within yourself alone, are pointed in 2 different directions. I love the concept of the freedom that I get from what I imagine it must be like to be a millionaire, financial freedom, and yet I hate money. That's the reality of it. If every single time you think about money and there's no money in your savings account, you're not investing money, you're not growing money, you're not building multiple streams of passive income, because hell, if I have this one stream of passive income, it's more money. And every time I see zeros in my bank account, I get stressed out because that reminds me of bill collectors, mom and dad arguing about, I don't know, bullies stealing my quarters and dollars from during lunchtime at school. All these associations end up making you hate the very ladder by which you need to be able to climb to the top of this social level called being a millionaire or being a multimillionaire. Does that make sense? What I'm saying is that you can't love cake and hate the icing on it. That if you hate icing on the cake, you're never going to get through to the cake. You can't love women and hate femininity. You can't love being in shape and hate exercise. You can't really want to be a multimillionaire and hate money. And the ways you hate money, the reasons you hate money is because, and it shows up. The ways you hate money, it shows up in you getting angry at people that are already full of money. You hate rich people, which means you hate people that are rich, which means you're a person, and if you are going to be rich, guess what? You hate yourself. You hate your future self. You want to get away from that rich person over there? Guess what? You want to get away from people that are rich. Guess what? You want to get away from you being rich. It's that simple. It's that simple. When's the last time you loved eating hamburgers with mushrooms? Or no, let's do this. Pizza with pineapples on it. When's the last time you loved eating pizza with pineapples and you hated people that eat pizza with pineapples on it. It's impossible. It's impossible. It's impossible to look at someone. Oh, that's disgusting. Why would you put pineapple on pizza? You make me sick. In fact, we should tax all the pineapples off your pizza. No one should be able to have 32 pieces of pineapple on their pizza. That's way too much pineapple for anybody. Sound familiar? Nobody should be a billionaire. That's way too much money for anybody. But me? Oh yeah. For me, it's okay. I love pineapple on my pizza. That just doesn't happen. It's you hate human being plus pineapple on pizza just is not an equation to you. It just is not a part of your psyche. And it feels like fingernails on a chalkboard when you see human being plus pizza with pineapples on it. And you suddenly want to eat a pizza pie with pepperoni and pineapples on it? Ain't gonna happen. You see what I'm saying? You can't hate billionaires and actually want to be a billionaire, or even a multimillionaire, or even financially free. It's just not possible. You either love that condition and you want it in your life, or you hate that condition and you sabotage every opportunity for that condition to come into your life. It's really simple. So, can you be honest with yourself? Do you actually love the thought of being financially free but hate money? If you do that, that's a problem. You're going to be like that NBA team. What was it? The Lakers at one point had a bunch of people that hated each other on the same team. They didn't win the All-Stars. They didn't win the, what do you call the basketball playoffs? At the end of the season of basketball, the people that win, whatever that's called, they didn't win. Okay, so then, if you can be honest with yourself and say, yeah, wow, I didn't realize I had such a negative, angry, pejorative opinion of money. And here I am trying to make money, and then everything I do, I'm just throwing money away, and I'm blowing it on useless stuff, and blowing it on girls I'll never see, and blowing it on cocaine and being self-destructive. Every time I get money, I just seem to throw it away. Oh, it's because you hate it. You do the same thing to pineapple pizza, don't you? Anything that you hate, you throw it away. No matter how much you trick yourself into thinking that you love it. Okay, so now, how do I then go about changing my mind? Because I know I want to be financially free. That's because working for this boss that I hate, working with people that are morons, in an office that I just can't stand, is not a way to live a lifetime. But if I hate money subconsciously, how do I flip that script? Let's deal with that in the next episode. To get the next episode, just hit subscribe on this YouTube channel. For now, introspection. Notice the things that you do that prove, that demonstrate, that externally expose your internal prejudices, gut feelings about money.